Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Episode 269 with me, George, and this week joined by RGT. He is retro to my ghetto. How's it going, RGT?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you?
Carried in on a wicker bed chair by you and your housemaid. Sorry, Ethel, I'll probably put you back out. I mean, she is 73, but ever the returning hero. You've brought me in, you've sat me down, you've mopped me brown, you've poured me a pretty stiff champagne, if I'm being honest with you, and I am ready. I've returned from promoting the Unofficial Controller Podcast across all of, well, not all of Europe, but the Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, Brussels, and France. Went down as well as you'd imagine.
So you're going to do the rest next week, or...?
I'll be honest with you, based on the uptake so far in continental Europe, it's been a bit loose. But you know, we're well represented in Sweden, CNOX. We just need to pick it up a little bit. You know, we had a little Dutch contingent, but they've gone a bit quiet, so we need them to fire up and get on the Discord. But other than that, everything is great. Those that are on the Discord know I've been a little bit poorly. I won't say I'm 100%, but I'm at least 94%.
You're back in the chair.
I'm back on the show, and that's quite frankly in this day and age a miracle. So thank you to you and Fat Zangief for doing the show a couple of weeks ago. I've been listening to that on my travels, but I haven't got to the bit yet where you do the subscribers, because I'd love to hear Fat Zangief, and I'm hoping this has happened because it's so meta. Fat Zangief giving a Fat Zangief with tutelage from you about it being his first one and him being a bit nervous, and his mum's maybe watching through a crack in the door. What that might sound like. So I'm getting ever closer, and the anticipation is killing me. I don't want to skip to it, but I'm fired up. Anyway, people came to what's colloquially known as a video game podcast, although I'm having my doubts. So just to settle things here and give people the chance to come in and feel comfortable, what have you been playing?
One game is what I've been playing.
Oh,
I've been playing it a lot. Yes, one game, and I think most people, if you're on Discord, you'll know what that is. But for those of you who aren't on Discord, this stems back to our show that we done with Zangief, aka Simon, and thank you very much for that. It was a brilliant show. We're sort of revisiting Gen 7 at the minute, 360 PS3. We're picking a game a month to play. We've got a little area chat room on Discord where we've been chatting about the game, and a few people have joined us on our journey. And we started off with a GTA 4, which I've been playing on the PlayStation 3.
Have you got an SSD in that bad boy yet?
SSD?
Yeah.
No, my PS3, one of many, packed up, so I have borrowed a PS3 off Bald Border, for which I will be given back soon because I'm ordering a new PS3. And I was thinking of, because you have contacts in the PS3 modding scene, so I was thinking of getting your details of your friend and sending it off and getting SSD, getting it getting a thermal paste redone, and getting some big bad boy sorted out. So I've got a bit of a beast to play on. So
wow. So you've drawn a line under PS5 gaming, deemed it too expensive, and then you're going to blow...
PS5? What's that?
Yes, exactly. And now you're going to blow the same sort of money on a PS3 as you would on a Pro 5 Pro.
I don't know. I won't be spending that, I can assure you. I mean, I can pick up...
No, I can assure you. No, I can assure you.
So I'm going to be spending £90 on a PS3 Slim, and your friend's going to charge me £700 to get a thermal paste and SSD done.
Yes. You can do the SSD yourself anyway.
Yeah.
Have you got the Super Slim coming? Is that what you've got?
No, I've always most of
I owe
you know,
you
I
a Slim. What's happened here? Oh no,
no, you don't owe
you're
me anything.
bereft of PS3s, and I'm sat there built out of a throne of broken ones with the one working one on my lap that I caress like a freshly born bairn. You need it back, don't you? It's fine.
No, I don't need it back. No, I don't
You
need it
do.
back.
That's
No, I
cool.
don't. No, it's fine. I don't need it back. No, it's I've got I'm bereft of broken PS3s as well. But um, the last couple I've had have been Slims. I do like the Slims, 500 gig Slims. They seem to be the most reliable ones. And I was thinking to get another one of those SSD, that bad boy, thermal paste it, get it running at full chat. And I'd never even heard of putting an SSD in until you'd said. And then I'd done a bit of research on it. And although the gains are small, a lot of people do recommend doing it. So I was thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, I might do that. But yes, so I've been playing GTA 4. I'm 25, 30 hours in. I'm mission 54, I believe, as of recording.
Wow.
I'm a bit ahead. We done markers as well. So we done mission 30. There's roughly 90 missions, 88 missions in the game. So we sort of broke it down into thirds. Done our first stop and point at mission 30, which was Luck of the Irish, I believe, when you first.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we got to that point and we all done a little mini review, what we thought so far, you know, what we're playing on, bits and pieces, and people very kindly dropped their little reviews on. And then we've now gone back to it and we're now heading to mission 60, which is taken in the trash. Roughly 60, depending on what other missions you've done. But if you've done every mission, that'll be
That's the
60.
heist mission with the bin lorries, is it?
I think so, yes. Yeah,
Ooh.
taken in the trash. So, yeah, so we get to there. So, but
That
I'm
feels good,
steaming
that
ahead because
level.
yeah, I've just done. Like I say, I'm on 54 because I'm steaming it. I've been off this week and I took my PS3 with me, so I was any spare
Hold
time
up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up,
back
friend. Now,
sat
just
sat sat riding shotgun back at a folk high, with the PS3 wide up.
no.
Now, Mrs. RGT holiday,
Did that
take me
happen,
where I
or
want to
did you
go.
just take it to your end location, or did you play it on the journey? Come on,
No, I
because I
just took
want
to my own location. I just want to see
to.
your face.
Okay, see, you went on holiday. You took your PS3.
Yes, yes.
You set this all up in Holiday Lounge,
Hmm.
and you basically just sat in your pants playing PS3 in a different location to your home.
No, we had a lot of days out and bits and pieces, but in the evenings, Mrs. RGT was in Stardew again on her Switch Lite, and I was on GTA 4 in the evenings. We chilled out, and yeah, very, very good. But during the day, I was out hunting, sniffing out hidden gems, ready
I'm glad
for
you
the
said
show.
hidden
So,
gems. That's a good result for everybody.
hmm. um, so yeah. But anyway, so I'm mission 54. My thoughts so far when I first started playing it
Yes,
again,
please.
I've completely forgot how different the driving was, the feel of the driving, and
It's better
what I
though.
couldn't. The first, oh, definitely. I said this to Bada Binkster and a few of the other guys who were playing. Give it 2 or 3 missions, and then that's fine. It's actually really, really good. What they done to give that realism to the cars and that is I think, is
I
stroke of
think it's the
genius.
best opening to a GTA game ever as well. Coming in on the boat, the music, the
Yeah,
ding, 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 it just
it's a
sounds so
movie.
good.
It's a movie. It's
Yeah.
it's like a late '90s movie.
Cousin!
Yeah, hey Roman.
Roman, you want to come
Niko.
bowling?
Yeah, superb. But yeah, and also I didn't like the self-centering camera that you get on PS3 and Xbox 360. When you move your right analog, it keeps recentering. Same again, 2 or 3 missions in, don't think nothing of it. You just adjust to use, and you actually end up like now. I use that recentering um, to help me rather than being a hindrance. So you just
Hmm.
learn to go around. They were the two negatives to start with, but yeah, completely over those. Graphically, I'm still very impressed with this game. I think the detail, like I say, I'm playing PS3. I think most of us
Well,
on
one thing I would
PS3.
say is the SSD takes away most of the PS3 complaints that you would have.
Mm, sort of
Texture
distance popping sort
popping,
of thing.
distance
Yeah.
draw, all that sort of
Mm,
stuff is I'm not saying it's gone, but it
mm,
is massively reduced.
mm. Oh wow, that'll be good. And I know, I think Scotty's going to start playing, and he's going to play on 360, which I think the 360 had better frame rates, whereas PS3 was better resolution and
If
colours,
my memory
I
serves,
believe.
and I've played it both, I've played it most on PS3, but I've played and finished it on both. The 360 was flawless in its execution, but still suffered with some, and this is memory, still suffered with some of that mid to long term sort of draw distance pop in.
Mm.
But the textures were pretty solid on PS3. You know,
I read a bit
immediately
of
they were
review of
there.
it I read a bit of review when it came out. There's a review still up online, and the guy played them both simultaneously, and then for played them for a week fully through, and he said the 360 version just edges it for him. But he said technically the resolution and colours are better on the PS3, the frame
Mm.
rate's better on the 360, but Sam Houser actually said that in house at Rockstar they preferred the PS3 version. But I think as time's gone on, obviously frame rates are more important nowadays than I think they were then. So I think if you look back now, it's probably the 360 version is probably the version
I
to
agree with
play. I
mate.
think
The
if you've
world's
got
got a better vibe on PS3.
mm,
I don't know, and maybe that's the colours. I don't know, but the world's got a better vibe, and it just feels
mm.
more kind of New Yorky.
Yeah, and I think they put a bit more into the PS3 version because they'd obviously added six axis and that at the time. So they were predominantly putting more into the PS3 version. So whether that had anything to do with that being slightly better that way, I don't know. But I'll be interested to see when Scott plays to compare, see what the differences are. I think they're minor. I don't think you'd notice a lot unless you got them side by side. But yeah, really, really enjoying it. I thought because I've completed it two or three times before, I thought I'd get a bit bored, old hat. But I think it's long ago since I've played it. The missions I can vaguely remember, but not enough to be bored by them. They're sort of fresh adventure again. And
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
just done the bank heist with the Irish family, and it took me three or four attempts to. That's almost like a Dark Souls game because it's quite tough, and you have to get so far and think, right, don't do that this time, do this. Then you restart, go again, but I just think I can remember being wowed back in the day, and I just think we'd come from San Andreas, and um, we'd had the Liberty City stories and Vice City stories on PS2, and then you come into this, and you've got, I know it's more powerful hardware, obviously, but you've got your mobile phone. You can go out on dates. You could meet up with your friends and go to the bar, or you can go and see
I
Ricky
always
Gervais in a
maintain this.
show. Or
Yeah, the world feels way bigger and more alive than five, and this is my biggest complaint with five. Like, wow, got a tattoo. Yeah, great. Went to the cinema. Pretty boring. TV at home. The TV in Niko's room is great. You know,
Mm.
Galactic
Yeah, I think
Space Rangers and all that stuff. I can watch that for hours.
you could tell five they put more into this playing as three players, the zooming out, the zooming in. That was the emphasis of the game, and they done it well. Don't get me wrong; that is brilliant. That's a great time, and I really enjoyed five. And five used to be one of my favourites, but it was you that kept saying four's the better game, and I kept thinking, don't know. The more I thought about it, I think you're right. And then playing four now, I think you are correct. And funnily enough, that's actually a wide consensus online that four is the better game
It
over
took a bit of
five.
time, I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make out that I was one of the sort of trendsetters at the start because I'm not the coolest guy in town. I'm merely a hanger-on. But for me, four always hit so nicely. The intro, the setting, the world, the level of detail they've put into this incarnation of Liberty City is phenomenal. And I don't know. There's just something likable about the character of Niko, and maybe it's the fact that you just spend the whole game with him
Mm,
rather
yeah.
than being split across the three, being forced to spend time with other people. I kind of want just one story. I know six has lent into two main protagonists, as we know so far, but predominantly seems to be that it'll be split across two, and the dynamic of male and female as well. Does that just give you a player avatar to choose between male or female? I don't know, but I've seen some
Mm,
hot swaps online. Maybe it was fake or what, I don't know. But certainly a reduced amount of main characters is going to have a bigger effect on your buy-in to the individual people that you play as. That's a given, right? And
mm,
for me, for it just felt small. It was that classic rags to riches tale of GTA as well. You get off the boat, you're an immigrant, and that was a clever sort of kind of take from Rockstar. You're from a collapsed Russian state as well. You've seen some war or whatever in the Bolsheviks
Mm.
or their version of it. You come across, and I mean the main idea of the story, and this is where GTA 4 does fall down a little bit. The main story is this guy coming to America to start afresh. In the cutscenes and all the phone conversations, he's tired of the killing, and then you go on a 100-man death rampage, and it's like, oh, okay.
Mm.
I mean, how upset were you by the killing?
Yeah, it's
And then he's like, when he's fighting, he's like, "Come on, then, do, come on!" He's not a man that's scared by death,
Yeah, I think to
or
me that's almost like his sort of split personality. He almost goes back into the war Niko. He's almost like he
and
snaps, but he
that's
doesn't want to be that Niko. He wants to be,
yeah,
he just
and
wants to settle
that's
down and get a girlfriend, get a job, and he just wants a new life. But he keeps getting drawn in to the old style of life, and
And I think maybe
yeah.
there's an exploration of the element of the fact that actually Niko quite enjoys that. He says he wants to get away from it, but he kind of knows as part of his psyche that gets off on it a little bit, maybe. He
Well,
kind of
yeah, when
knows
you go
he's that
for a
guy.
job and they say, "Are you up for this? Are you up for that?" and he's like, "I'll do anything to earn money." He's
Mm.
almost like, "Yeah, I'll do
Well,
that
one of
straight
the big
away."
deciders, and I'm sure you're past this, is quite early on, you kind of fall out with a guy that I think that's been giving your cousin some grief. And there's a choice of whether you kill him or you don't.
Faustine, isn't it? Faustine, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And it's
Mm.
it's and if you remember, I can't quite remember how it works. You sort of pistol him down in a back alley or something.
Um, I'm still. I've rescued Roman, but I
Hmm.
haven't got to the bit where he's still ringing me up every now and then saying he's going to kill me. So I ain't quite got to
Right.
that
I
level of
think it
getting
happens
Faustine.
like quite kind of, if memory serves, it happens kind of fast and dirty in a back alley, and it's kind of
Mm,
you get the choice, but when you do it, it feels obviously you've killed loads of people at this point, but it feels kind of brutal and it's close up and it's mano a mano. It's a bit like boof. It's
mm,
like, ooh, that feels bad. That felt
mm.
bad. And again, early days of Rockstar making you feel feelings. Um, a little bit ramped down in this one, but as a start to the HD trilogy, I was so happy when you guys picked this. I mean, like I say, I'm a good chunk of the way through the episode, and I've listened to some of the games that you discussed. Brilliant episode, and although, yeah, based on the games you have actually played, it just so you know, your CV has been passed through to me. You are overly qualified to be a podcast host.
Oh,
The
I thought
games
I'd
that
be
you
under.
haven't played, I was driving down the road and I was like, "You haven't played that piece of dirt? What do you mean you haven't played that? Unbelievable! How can he
Yeah,
not have played? How is he? How? Oh God, RGT,
yeah.
I was
It's
going
got
up
to
the
stand.
wall." But you
I
made a,
think
you made a
that's
really
a
solid point because I think something you said was these are the games we haven't played, and these are bangers. But we've played hundreds of other games that
yeah.
we've played all the way through and finished, and these are the floor sweepings for you and Fat Zangief in that moment. And it was like, wow, yeah, he's got a solid point there because I started listening off in my mind. I was like, well, I played that but never finished it. I've always wanted to play Spec Ops: The Line, but I've got it. And all these games just started tumbling out my brain. I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. Merging the OG Xbox, merging whatever Nintendo drivel was on the scene at the time. And you've got yourself, as you both said, quite the library. And
Mm,
that era of games as well made that transition to where they still look good now. Like you're playing GTA 4 and being wowed by it. I'm equally wowed by GTA 4 and its aesthetic and its feel and its
mm.
look and its graphic. And it's like, yeah, this is great. Still great. Um, and in some ways, maybe more relevant than ever. You're an immigrant coming over, trying to fight against a world that maybe doesn't want to let you into it. Um, I can say very forward thinking, very highbrow of you, RGT, to pick such a philosophical title as this.
Well, I think also because Simon had never finished it. He'd started, never finished. I've finished it 2 or 3 times and just
How can
thought I'd
Fat
love to.
Zangief never, mate? When Fat Zangief starts, he finishes. We know this at the end of the show. We know that every single time he's the climax guy. He's the one that takes it to the finish, one-handed. Yeah.
Anyway, I know he hasn't finished GTA 4.
In
So I just
fact, I've
thought
just done him
I'd love
dirty.
to play it again.
He takes himself to the finish line two-handed.
Wow.
because that's how you play video games. I don't know what you were thinking.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, not at all.
Hmm.
And also, I think, like we said about the game, it's something that you can tell they wanted something special on that generation. They really went to town on it. For instance, like I said, you got your phone, you can meet up, go for drinks. Your
Internet
friends ring you a
cafe.
message. Internet
A
cafe, which is
working
brilliant.
internet, which is
Yeah,
like, whoa, hang on a minute.
called T and the at symbol. It's just a GTA vibe, isn't
So
it?
good, mate.
And then you get your decisions as well. Like you have can't remember his name is Dwayne and Playboy. And Playboy's obviously made all this money. He was friends with Dwayne. Dwayne was in prison. He's then obviously fleeced him and don't really want to know him, but he's been released. He didn't think he was going to be released. Now he's got nothing. He's come out to nothing. And actually turns out to be the nice guy. And then that's just like Playboy's like, look, we're really worried about Dwayne. He's losing the plot. He's going to kill us both. You're going to have to take him out. And then Dwayne phones you up and to say, look, I need Playboy taken out, blah, blah, blah. And then that's up to you. Where do you go? Which one do you take
Hmm.
out? So they give you those decisions, and there's no inkling, there's no right or wrong thing to do. And it's also like I was reading up on the game because I completed the Stranger mission with Brian, the drug addict. You do 3 or 4 missions with him, you bump in him,
Yes.
and then it said Stranger Mission 2, and I thought I'd never. I can't remember what her name was. Was it Carice or something like that?
Oh,
Clarissa.
yeah.
And I thought, well, I've never heard of her. Why have I never heard of her? Well, then Clarissa was Dwayne's ex-girlfriend that started seeing
Hmm.
his friend while he's in prison. Well, when you go to sort her new boyfriend out, if you kill her, then these stranger missions don't come about. So you can take her boyfriend out. But if you keep her alive and choose to save her, then that spawns onto and I just thought, that's genius. That's brilliant. So
So
then I've
good.
been started doing the stranger missions for her as well, because I thought I'd try and cover those
Can I
bits
just
off. And
say, is it Brucey with the helicopters?
Brucey, yeah.
He's so annoying, isn't he? Brucey.
He's annoying, but
Oh.
I love him. He's so funny because he tries to be so cool. Like when you walk into his apartment and
He's
he's like, "Hey,
desperate to be
Niko,"
loved, isn't he? He's
yeah, and he comes
desperate.
up and he goes, hoo, 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 and he starts top off. He's trying to jab at you, and eventually he goes, come at me, and you just bend his arm around. He's going, oh no, please stop, 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 stop. And you're like, hang on, you're absolutely ripped. You're this powerhouse. Now you're crying like a child because I've grabbed your arm.
That's
Then
exactly
there's
it.
another one. There's this other one where he's like, go on, punch me. I'm absolutely ripped. Punch me. You can't. So you punch him in the stomach, and you just hear him go, he's dropped to the floor. And the acting in this game is so good. There's
Really
no
good.
like deadpan actor. There's some brilliant actors in it.
And a
And they,
really nice, clean step up from Sanan as well.
yeah, yeah, really good. So, yeah, I know it's going to be third or fourth time I've completed it, but absolutely loving it. Putting the time in. I'll probably be next couple of weeks. I think I'll probably be done and dusted with it because I'm 25 hours in, something like that. I think
Just feels so
mission
real. And
54.
also,
So.
rumours, lots of strong rumours gathering pace now that this is looking at a re release in between now and
Yeah,
when
we were
GTA 6
talking
comes
off
out.
air about this, weren't we? And I said, that's just as we selected that game. And then Simon messaged me the story and just said, no way. And I was like, oh my God, yep, they're going to
Cannot, if they
rumors
bring
are
that back, what
remaster.
another great reason to play it through.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it still looks good now, graphically. If they res that up and give it a really nice, look to it, put it on the modern consoles, and people who haven't played it, missed it first time around. It's a great opportunity to get stuck into that, and you will not be disappointed if you're a Grand Theft Auto fan because it's a quality game. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So what about you, George? What have you been playing? As you've been on the road, I would imagine it's been Switch and Portal. I would imagine.
Really, I've been so busy pumping the show. Um, Join the Discord if you want to know what I've really been doing. But it is glamorous. No, not really. Kind of intriguing and taking place in Europe. So, yeah, I'm sure someone will find some interest in it. But in all seriousness, excuse me, I haven't had a minute to myself really. So there was a little bit of on the channel tunnel. I got the Switch out and did a little bit of F1 Team Manager. I mean, it's I've run out of money, a spaghetti quest. Things are a bit desperate. The drivers hate me. Team hates me. Haven't got any money for new parts. Everybody hates me. The board hate me. Um, but this is not what I want to talk about. Not at all. Today, I want to major on a game In fact, you've got your hidden gems.
Hmm.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
No.
I'm not taking that from you. But, and I've talked about this before, so it doesn't really count. But me and the beloved Rachel, we've been playing an awful lot. Before I went away, we started playing Lord of the Rings Third Age, and I've dipped and
Was this
dabbed
the
with
one you
this.
was on about?
Yeah, I've dipped and
Yeah,
dabbed with
yeah.
this in the past, and we started again together and started to play through. I've got it chipped. It's on PS2. I've got it wired into the surround sound. The surround sound alone is top tier. Let's just tick these things off as we go. Yes, it's Dolby Pro Logic 2, but my goodness, is it fantastic? Yes. I was in the mines of Moria yesterday, and I just sat and listened with my eyes closed, and I think I got to over 10 minutes of loop without hearing a repeated sound. I was like, wow. You can
Mm.
hear the drums in the background. You can hear individual orcs scurrying around across a 360 soundscape around you. You can hear like all sorts of weird clattering and clangs. You can hear individual orcs getting a bit closer sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong. Graphically, I think at the time it was a looker. I think you could argue now it's still a fantastic game, but sometimes it's a bit bland, because of
Mm.
it is a PS2 era game. But when this came out, it
Mm.
must look phenomenal. They've got Sir Ian McKellen, aka Gandalf, reading out these lines. Now you take the role of a party that's running concurrently to the Fellowship of the Ring. You're a ranger, a dwarf, a female elf, a guy from Gondor who's looking primarily for Sean Bean, whatever his name is. I forget. Community corrections come at me, and yeah, you follow and you kind of cross paths or just always run by. I think I said to you last time we spoke about this game, you're at the bottom of the well as the skeleton falls down when
Mm.
Pippin messes about with it. There's a bit we came through Moria and then we met Gandalf on the stone bridge where he's fighting the
Oh.
Balrog. Now, there was a bit of a moment where we had to fight some trolls first, and then we beat those and turned around and ended up fighting the Balrog. Now, obviously, as a purist, I'm like, well, these guys were never on the bridge, so I was kind of hoping that we would fight the trolls. And as we turn around, we got the whole Gandalf, you shall not pass. Like, no, run, you fools, run. And we have to run in the other direction. But no, we fought the Balrog. Now, I want to say that fighting that Balrog in that game with the smoke effects billowing out around him, the grey cloud and
Mm.
smoke and the flames coming
Is
up
it
through.
turn-based as well, you said?
It is. We'll get to
Yeah.
this.
Right.
Looks, I was like, wow, look at that Balrog. It looked like real clouds, black dark clouds sort
Mm.
of coming out of him. I was like, that looks phenomenal. Now, the battle system is obviously other people have made this sort of comparison, but it's pretty prescient to me. They've ripped off Final Fantasy X's combat system, but that is in no way a bad thing, right?
Mm.
And it's cool because you kind of go into this rotation depending on your speed about how quick you get to have a go again in the battle. Really nicely done. Lots of tactical thinking. It's Rachel's first JRPG style game. She's loving it. Every now and then you get these kind of dreams from Gandalf as well that tell you where he is on the journey. He's like, oh, I'm Gandalf the White now, and I'm trying to get the Riders of Rohan ready to, defend Helm's Deep, and I need you to go there and get these guys ready. And I'm thinking, wow, are we going to ride down with Gandalf in that moment? Or are we going to be in
Mm.
Helm's Deep itself? I have been absolutely loving it. I've never been so excited for a 400-year-old video game, but as soon as I got in, I was like, right, she was sat there playing Astrobot waiting for me to get in. And I was like, no, turn that off. We're going, no, we're going back to Middle Earth. We're playing PS2, babe. This is what we're doing. And
Is it a
we
very
both,
long game or?
well, we're about 32% in, and we're probably 10 hours or something like that at this point. I might be a little bit over
Mm.
there. Maybe it was 8 hours, but yeah, you can feel that it's going to be chunky. It's going to be 20, 30 hours, I
Mm.
think, by it's done.
Mm.
But yeah, we're seeing everything. There's some bits of it that are a bit Mickey Mouse, like every time there was a bit like where, oh, you're going to meet the elves and they're going to give you these weapons and these are going to what you use. As I said to Rachel, They gave us a weapon, then the very next thing we killed, like let's say a sewer rat, he had a better cutlass on it than the one we had. So you ditch that one that the elves gave you and you pick the one up that's got 0.1% more damage on it. And
Yeah,
it's like every single corpse you rob and it's 0.1% more. So you're always having to go
yeah.
into your stats and mess about. But how it does make me laugh. How important is the narrative to EA? And kudos to EA for putting this together, by the way. Because there was also when you fight the Balrog, there's a scene where it goes from the video game graphics into a sharp cut of the movie itself,
Oh wow.
and it just happened, and I didn't even think for a minute. I was like, "Oh, great, it's carried on." Then I was like, "Hang on a minute, that just hot swapped from PS2 to movie graphics," and I didn't really even question it. Now I know in they kind of perfected this in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, the PS2 sort of sit down co-op game, where you bash through the
Mm,
movie. That would
mm,
hot swap and it would be close. And they've used a similar technique here. Really, really happy with it, really impressed with it, really enjoyed it. It's not overly easy, but nor is it, a cakewalk or anything crazy like that, but it's not really difficult. I think we died fully twice in the time that we've played it so far.
mm.
So, yeah, oh, mate, I've raved about the surround sound. Can I just rave about the music? Because it's got the music in, all the bits of the music in that you love from the movie, but in long form as well.
Really?
And I love this bit when you fight in the orcs and it's got like the orc. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dum, 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 ba-da-da, ba-wa-wa,
Bloody hell.
ba. And it's going to take us
That sounds like they
from
rent a town on this.
Oh, mate. And it takes you from the Fellowship, I believe, until the end of Return of the King. We've already had it signposted that we're off to the Steward of Gondor, towards the end of the game. We've already been signposted that we're going to have something to do with the Riders of Rohan in the middle. And there was a bit when we were. So Gandalf told us, oh, Sean Bean's dead and blah, blah, blah. And it was a bit like, oh, crikey. And we were walking through this area and Rachel said, oh, crikey, look. And there was the two stone kings with their hands up either side. So Gandalf had just told us and we'd seen like Sean Bean's boat making its way down the river. I don't know why I'm having a mental block on his name. Forgive me. At least he gives people something to mention into community corrections. First
Exactly.
10 people to message in will get a game from RGT's collection.
Oh, great. I ain't got a lot left after what you keep giving away.
Ranging between £10 and £20 PS2.
Oh,
So
oh,
high
marvellous. Yeah,
brand.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
First person gets a fridge magnet. Everybody else gets to just talk about how great they were and list off in ever decreasing order. I forgot where I was going to now after that rampage.
Sean Bean going down on the boat on the river and the
Oh
Kings.
yeah, and then obviously as we walk through, there they are, and it's like, oh, that's how close we are, and you keep getting these moments where you can almost smell the Fellowship, the main guys. We walked through this other section, and there was like a wooded section, and when we first walked into that area, like lots of grass field to the left, and this wooded section, I thought. That looks like where they burn all those, meat's back on the menu, boys. And mate is like, their bonds were cut. They crawled to the Fangorn Forest or whatever it's called. And I looked
Yeah.
down on the ground and said, Rachel, go over there. Look, there's the ash from the pit where they burnt all the Rowan Riders burnt all the orcs. And there's the
No
sort of
way.
things in the grass that lead towards Fangorn Forest or whatever it's called. And I was like, there's lots of little bits. When you first set off, you stumble across some stone trolls that are kind of meant to nod and wink to the Hobbit as well, where they have to entertain the guys until the sun comes up and then they get turned into stone.
Yeah.
You're going through a wood at the beginning and you stumble across them. So there's like lots of little nods for the fans.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
One of the slight annoyances, I would say, here's an annoyance. You're playing as a dwarf, and as you go through, you pick up all these different armor bits and bobs. Now, the dwarf got a new a helmet that completely covers his face. Now, he had one of the best faces in the game. His beard moved and everything, and he always laughed when he won. And now he's got this full face helmet on. I don't want to downgrade the armor because you're right on the button. You're always having to upgrade the armor because every time you face a
Yeah.
new guy, it's slightly harder than the previous one, but it's like robbed all the fun out of the dwarf because he just looks like Robo Dwarf. He's just got this like full face
Yeah.
armored helmet. You can't see anything. But yeah, other than that, I don't want to beat down on it really too much because of its age. I did look at reviews at the time, and I think IGN gave it an 8.5. I think other publications were giving it sort of strong sevens, 7.5, 7.7. So let's aggregate that down and knock a point off, I suppose, for age and get ourselves to an aggregate 7.2 out of 10, I would say.
Mm.
And I'll stand by that. Obviously, at this point, it may tail off. Some older games did tail off towards the end
Mm.
rather than build to a crescendo. Maybe they ran out of ideas. Maybe your steam as a player kind of slowed down a little bit because it was like, been here, done that, but not had that experience so far. Enjoyed the
Mm.
battles, been pushed and challenged, but not too hard, while still enjoying the narrative. So, yeah, maybe this is broken Rachel's, because she's not, a hardened gamer. She'll enjoy Astrobot and she'll play The Sims and stuff like that. So to see her sort of enjoy this system, admittedly wrapped in a movie franchise that she loves, but I'm thinking maybe Persona, maybe Ni no Kuni, maybe straight to Final Fantasy X. So she's got that battle system mapped in her head. This
Mm.
would be,
It's opened her up to a new genre, isn't it? So
yeah. So anyway, with all that said and done, is it time for me to say that we've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories first up?
yeah, it is.
Okay, well, there you go. That's how we do it. Quick and professional. Yeah, like a self-lubing rampant rabbit pro. This one comes courtesy of Push Square, the immortal Sammy Barker, aka the King of Push Square. If you're listening, Sammy, I hope you're well. With this little gem, Sony seemingly readying mobile version of MLB The Show, baby. Sony's been extremely slow embracing mobile despite its best efforts to spin up new initiatives in the smartphone space. The company recently shuttered German developer Neon Koi before it could even ship anything, and there's even been a ton of executive turnover in its floundering PS Mobile division. But a new job listing, spied by Reddit, Eager Beavers down at Reddit, that's the frog's version of Reddit, seems to insinuate that the MLB Show, one of the biggest and best PlayStation series, is getting a mobile version. The post for a senior product manager at developer San Diego Studios noticed that the candidates will partner with design, production, marketing, data, and analytics, and many other disciplines to drive new product features and optimize existing ones to make MLB The Show mobile an amazing game. Now, if you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, George, I've seen that. Well, you might have. Because MLB The Show, and currently the 25 version will have updated on your phone if you've got it, does have a companion app that allows you to manage your Diamond Dynasty roster while you're away from your PS5, and obviously scan your face in, like I have struggled to because my great big beak, casting a shadow across my face, making me look like... and Tingle Tuner piped up because he loved the Simon Weston reference, so we'll put another one in for him. He did note that you didn't get it, so that's fair enough. Responsibilities listed in the job listing include phrases like retention and monetization strategies. All things you'd expect to read about in a modern mobile project. It makes sense to bring the series to phones, of course. Rival franchises like EA Sports FC, NBA 2K, and Madden all have their own mobile versions to replicate the presentation and feed of their console counterparts, but provide more tailored on-the-go experiences. I didn't know that Madden had one. In this case, we would expect it to be Diamond Dynasty that gets converted, allowing you to collect players and build your own God Squads. We suspect that the gameplay will be simplified to accommodate mobile with truncated games designed to meet the demands of shorter play sessions. But considering how popular MLB The Show is, it's an annual bestseller in the US and a big favourite of me. This seems to feel like a perfect fit for Sony's stagnating mobile strategy, especially at a time when the league has been eager for the platform holder to bring the franchise to as many platforms as possible. Now, if I may just, while I've got my teeth in, this could be a great fit because MLB is loved, obviously, in the States. And to enjoy it currently, you would need to have a console and be one of those gamers. But if it came to mobile to allow your dad to run his Diamond Dynasty team or to hit zingers on his phone when he's bored, this suddenly reaches a wider market than the console specific. Now, this has had a broadened market because it was a Sony exclusive for the longest time. Now it's on everything. I think even Switch 2 will benefit from the latest version of MLB, seeing as it's been skipped so far. Obviously, with the Switch 2 on the horizon, I guess it's playing catch up again and straight back in with the big boys. Be interesting to see graphically how that looks. And yes, I'll buy it again on another platform. Of course I will. Of course I will.
Guess you will.
Absolute rogue, aren't I? But yeah, I'm very pleased to see that. I normally am anti-mobile games, but do you know what? As long as it doesn't interfere with the main full fat version, very happy with that. I guess my swing to you, RGT, because you're not really an MLB guy, is have you played any of the other aforementioned sports apps like EAFC or probably not Madden, but maybe NBA? Have you had a little sniff at any of those?
Um, I haven't. No, I know. My nephew back in the day, sort of around FIFA, sort of 17, 18, 19, round about those sort of games. I mean, he played FIFA all the time on his Xbox, but he also had the FIFA game on his phone. I think they had a couple, like one which you could actually play as the game. The other one was like you just built your team, collected the cards, and built your team that way. More of just a card building game.
Yeah,
And
what's
he
it
loved
called?
them.
FIFA Ultimate Club or something? Ultimate Team
Something like
Club?
that, yeah. And he was really into me personally. I've never been one for much mobile gaming. It's not really for me. But from the other point of view, I can completely understand why they do it. I mean, Nintendo done with I know they had not so much spin-offs, but they had like Mario. What was it? Mario Run, whatever they done, and you obviously got Pokemon
Yeah.
Go and bits and pieces like that, and they're
You got
popular.
Mario Run, Pokemon Go, Fire Emblem, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing.
Yeah. So I can understand because, I mean, these days, everyone has a phone. You're hitting a market that maybe there's casual gamers in there that aren't really going to go out and buy Super Mario Kart on a on a Switch or buy a Switch to play it. But if it crops up on their phone for $5, they're going to do it. So from a business point of view, I completely understand why they do that. For me, no, it's not really for me. I've never really played them. Used to dabble in the odd just sort of mobile game, your puzzle games, bits and pieces back in the day, but not really for me. Some of the companion apps when GTA 5 first come out, I had the companion app on there where you could sort of look after the
Walk
dog
the
and feed the
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, bits and pieces, and that was a novelty for a few weeks, but it fell away. We didn't really use it that much. It was there, So, but yeah, I understand. Like I say, business point, I completely understand what they're doing. It's a no brainer, really. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it
Totally
something
agree.
you'd dabble? I mean, you're an MLB fan. Is it something you're
Sat
going
here
to
in my
look at
Mets
getting?
jersey. Absolutely. I would. Admittedly, like I say, I'll have the game on every platform going. Xbox
But
is
also, I
free.
mean, the mobile game this last week. You being around Europe is a prime example. I mean, if you had that on your phone, you'd probably put a few hours into that. Being the MLB fan you are, you'd probably
I
have played that.
as long as the game wasn't offensive, like I say, I'm a bit of a strange MLB fan. In fact, I like the pitcher's angle of the story rather than the big hits and the zingers and the
Hmm.
home runs. But if it was like just hitting big zingers on your phone, yeah, I'd sit in my room and do that. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, one room I got lucky in the TV. It was late. Don't get me wrong, but Con Air in English with Dutch subtitles and straight into Desperado as well in English with Dutch
Hmm.
subtitles, which I just fell asleep to. I enjoyed that, but in all the other rooms, it was full on hurdy gurdy. Actually, we're
Yeah.
a worldwide show. And I'm calling.
Wow. We were.
Controversy rocks the show yet again as half the European listeners disappear, if not all of them. Apologies to every single body. I don't know why I called it that. I meant to say Belgian. Um,
Got there in the end.
yeah. I'll answer for the crime. Don't worry. Or we've just gone viral. Either which way, it's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, court controversy at every turn. It's the Attitude Era. Um, and that's the bottom line because Georgie said so. So anyway, we get this right. But yeah, a mobile game of that was in my wheelhouse. Absolutely, I can see me playing. I'm not a Clash of Clans kind of bejeweled kind of
Mm,
what's it called? Why?
Raid Legends,
No, Crush, Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, yeah.
I'm not that kind of guy, but maybe I'd give it zingers on my mobile. Yeah, of course I would.
Yeah.
With all that said and done, have you got any news to peruse if you so choose?
I certainly have. This is over on Pure Xbox by Ben Kerry. Rumor, apparently, Xbox's Starfield is moving to PS5,
Hmm.
should be announced this year. Um, at this point, it's actually somewhat of a surprise that Xbox hasn't moved Bethesda's Starfield over to PS5 yet, given everything else that has been ported to the console. But it sounds like the plan is for that to change in the near future. According to the prominent leaker, Nate the Hate, he does a lot of these leaks and he's normally pretty bang on, this Nate the Hate, who was heavily involved in all the Oblivion remaster rumours. Microsoft will announce Starfield for PS5 in 2025. The insider doesn't say whether the actual game will launch this year, though, just that the announcement should arrive before year's end. Nate went on to say that they expect the gap between announcement and release to be minimal. So if the port is revealed sometime this year, it's likely the release will follow shortly after. This lines up with other recent Xbox to PS5 ports, which have typically had a few months between announcement and launch. This is just a rumor for now, so it's best to take that away. But given the leaker's recent track record and Xbox's big multi-platform push recently, this all sounds pretty likely. We will get another Xbox expansion alongside it in a similar vein to Shattered Space. Who knows? But Bethesda is definitely still supporting its space-faring RPG here in 2025. I think well, we sort of said from the start this is going to come over, aren't we? With Forza Horizon 5 coming over and Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. I think it's, and also it gives them a good cash stream. These things have gone straight onto Games Pass. So, like we said before, unless you're increasing your Games Pass by millions, you need to cover the cost. Well, if you then start selling them for $70 a pop on your rival's platform, it's a no-brainer for Xbox at the minute, I think. So, yeah, I can see that coming over.
I can see it coming over. I can see that Bethesda, call them what you like. It's a long-running show joke. And I call them what I like. Just so you know.
Usually different every time.
Every time. They've gathered some goodwill off the stealth drop of Oblivion, and Oblivion being good, well-handled package. I did expect to start to hear rumours because of how hard that hit, but I suppose you don't want to rob its oxygen. But would you Fallout 3 in Vegas, really, that would be game changing for us to be able to bring those titles forward and then play through those and into 4. Starfield is a no-brainer. It's ready pretty much to drop, I would imagine. Plus, we get the expansions. Might be a Game of the Year edition that makes its way onto PS5 and possibly Switch too. Who even knows at this point? But let's say it's current gen. There's PS5 and Xbox One, Xbox Series. It is easy money, I think. It's a shame that Starfield suffered on its initial launch on Xbox. Now there has been some goodwill extended, not No Man's Sky like, of course, but some goodwill extended in terms of fixing some of the biggest gripes players have. So is Starfield going to end up being the best to be played on PlayStation again? Sadly, yes, and it's almost exhausting to see Xbox commit. I don't know if it is commercial suicide because they're obviously making money out of it, but certainly moralistic suicide in terms of the reason to own an Xbox. Unless the reason to own an Xbox is, oh, I get to play all these games in my digital library for £10 a month. That argument's still strong, but it's starting to lose a lot of its impetus.
It's a weird situation, isn't it? Because initially the Series X, Series S was a great idea. Now the Series S is the handbrake, and now they've been forced into releasing their games on their rival's platform, which actually, because of the PS5 being a standard machine to code for, that's actually the better version of your own
Mm.
was exclusive. It's
Yeah,
this is a
add in the
really weird
aforementioned
situation.
Pro as well, and things start to get even cloudier.
Yeah.
So I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was intrigued by Starfield, but once I saw the planet transitions, people say, "Oh, George, it's an RPG. You shouldn't be bothered about planet transitions and this, that, and the other." Well, I am.
I did
I,
play it when it came out. I played it on Games Pass for about 15 hours. I put in, fell off. I can understand if you're a lot of Fallout 4 fan and you like space. I mean, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this. It's you can tell it's their game.
mm,
For me, it really lacked character. It really lacked. It was. It's hard to explain, really. I mean, for instance, going back to GTA 4, I know it's a completely different game, but you can tell it's got its own soul, that game. You play what they want, they've really put the effort into making this world and this character, and they want want you to see it, a bit like Last of Us, a bit like Uncharted. There's that depth in there to you to, get right into that world. Whereas with Starfield, it isn't that, but then that's not really what they make. But I just fell away from it. I found it a bit go there, collect that, do this, come back, maybe go off there, collect that,
I
do
was
this,
the
see what's
world's
there. And
biggest
I was,
Bethesda fan, back in the day.
mm,
I loved a bit of Oblivion, Morrowind, not necessarily much Skyrim, but Fallout, New Vegas, even to a certain extent Fallout 4. But I just feel like it's ever diminishing returns from that company.
mm,
Specifically, Bethesda themselves as a developer, not as a publisher. As a publisher, it's a very different story. But as a developer, sort of struggling along with Elder Scrolls that, when will that ever release? Who knows at this point? What platform will it release on? Like, who even knows at this point? We saw
mm,
sniffs of a trailer of the overworld, but not really.
mm.
And then obviously Starfield got hyped and, talk of a new engine and a new way of doing things, and it all looked very similar. And to be honest, a very similar experience to playing Outer Worlds, the game made by
Yeah, I've
the.
never tried that.
It's quite fun, but again, for me, the transitions from ships to planets, you make a good point. If you like Fallout, it's just like moving to a different town, but you don't get the transition of the wasteland. You just get to watch a ship, not even in the cutscene, a loading menu, kind of transiting through
Mm.
space. And I want to be able to walk around the ship and own it a bit more. Now, I know you can do that in Starfield, but when you take your ship off, you want to take off. When you fly into space, you want to fly into space. When you
Exactly.
fly
Yeah,
around, you want to.
it detaches you from the experience somewhat. Well, it did me. Um,
Well, saying that,
but
I absolutely loved Outlaws, and it's got an upgraded version of the planet to space system in Starfield. Listen, if it's a decent price, I'll probably get it out of pure curiosity. But to this point, I've not been curious enough to download it on the Xbox Series X. So why would I download it on the PS5? Again, does it come down to buying the game and owning it and give it more of a chance? Is that why so many people bounced off Starfield? Because they got it on Games Pass. It didn't tickle them under the chin after the first 30 minutes, so they got rid of it. Don't know them out, does it? Really?
no,
Whereas the
and
PlayStation 5 owners are going to
yeah,
go, there's Starfield, there's $70, better see this through,
mm.
and they'll play it from
And
start to finish.
also it's weird that they're porting these games over, and then I mean, I haven't tried any of their games, but I take it some of these are using the dual sensors um, techniques, with the haptics and the triggers. I mean, that
Yeah,
seems weird.
Oblivion
That
did for sure.
yeah, so you're almost getting you know, the proper version of the game with haptics and bits and pieces. Yeah, that's come
Well, I
from.
mean, haptics
It's
that's a bit by the by, isn't it? Xbox do
it
drop
is, but it's
those,
it's weird
but
that
it
you're
adds
developing
a
that
little
into
bit
your
more.
game.
And it adds more granularity, I suppose, to the experience, doesn't it? If you can um, add
Because I mean,
those
if you
things in.
remember, when I first got the Series X, I played Forza Horizon 5, and I remember you saying to me, "What do you think of it?" I said, "Oh, you can see why that's the best arcade open world game. It's brilliant, superb." But I just said the controller is, the Xbox controller aesthetically is nice, ergonomically it's a really nice shape to hold. But I
Mm,
said, well, what it misses out on is it's just like Rumble in there. It's the triggers are very bland. It's, I find it is a basic controller, and I always said it could really add from having adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback. So that really makes a difference in racing games, I find personally. So whether I take it they've added those haptics into Forza Horizon 5 on the PS5,
Mm-hmm.
which almost makes it the definitive version to play, even though they're
I
exclusive or
guess you
was at
could
the
say
time. It's
it's a
strange, isn't
definitive
it?
version to play, but we've had to wait to play quite an old game now.
Yes, true. Yeah, very
And
true. Yeah.
that's and maybe that's the exclusivity kind of feeling that you don't get if you don't sit on the Xbox platform. Maybe
Yeah,
you have,
true. That's fair enough. Yeah.
maybe in the scale of Indiana Jones, you didn't really have to wait that long at all. So where does exclusivity start and stop? But I would say Indiana
Maybe their
Jones.
exclusives are just going to be sort of timed exclusives now.
Maybe I think Indiana Jones probably owed them a lot of money, and it probably made them
Mm.
wonder why they. You sometimes look at some of these franchises and you think, by the time you've paid Disney for the exorbitant license fee and the development of the game, because the development of the game, by the by, if you'd made Indiana Jones or if you'd made Rick Dangerous, right, and just made an absolute clone of Indiana Jones, there's a
Yeah,
throwback,
it's a
right?
flashback. Yeah,
There you go. Stay tuned for the next episode of Flashback. By the way, it's
yeah.
it's being penned at the moment, so to start getting to a more frequent download scheme, like what you did there, RGT, slick little insertion of advert, a little bit like your love life. I don't like being
Wow,
jaded, George. It doesn't fit
you
well with.
love it.
No, mate, it's not right. It's not right. You and I both know that you hung like an Arctic shrew, so for me to say that's uncalled for. So, it's a cold, it's a cold winter's night as well, BTW.
Yeah, thanks.
And you're wearing
I
only silk boxers.
only ever do.
To be honest, it's less abrasive
Mm.
for me
Yeah,
anyway. So
yeah.
I
I love the
prefer it
feel of
when you
silk.
wear them. Yeah.
Mm.
Because we obviously, in terms of the law, me and you share a bedroom, but separate beds, a bit like Bert
Yes,
and Ernie. Yeah.
yes, we do. Yeah.
Fully clothed, no shenanigans. Well, we've got a t-shirt on,
Mm.
like Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he only wears a t-shirt, doesn't he? So he's naked
He does.
downstairs. And that's how we go to bed.
I'm Winnie, your piglet.
Fine. I'll be small spoon. I don't mind.
Yeah,
I'll crawl in your crevice.
bit like our Mad Max cosplay.
A bit like Master Blaster. Yeah. Master Blaster runs a podcast.
Anyway, we digress.
Me down on my knees in the Thunderdome crying at you as you look up at me cross-eyed. I think that needs to be a UC special at some point in time. If we ever get enough budget to do a Hollywood retelling of the UCP, it's at Thunderdome. And we are Master
Yeah.
Blaster. Scotty's Tina Turner. Bobby's Mad Max. Seb, God knows who he is at this point because I've just named every character in the movie. He's probably leader of the feral children at the plane, him and OG Tom. That's a blaster out of town. What an interesting character he is. Best ever fancy dress costume though.
That is superb. That is superb.
I think we've maybe walked that into the ground and I've took it off on enough tangents going. I'll be interested to see. The rumour's one thing. Once I see something solid announced, I'll start to maybe get a little bit more excited. If they've smoothed off some of the transitions in this time, that's also, I would say, a very good thing. So I'm very interested to see the finished project with feedback having taken in some account and effect on the overall game as well. So yeah, interesting. And also obviously if we're lucky enough to get it with the DLC as a Game of the Year edition, I think a lot of gamers will be happy with it. I just don't know if it's my cup of tea anymore, having bounced off Oblivion pretty quick. And I know some people like Harvey Retro keep sending me messages of how much fun he's having in the Oblivion world. And I look and think, oh yeah, that could be me. And then I just don't pick it up, which,
Mm,
Played a lot of it on 360 and PS3. So is there a bit of fade there? Maybe. Is it good enough to withstand fade like GTA 4 or Red Dead Redemption 1? No, I don't think it's classy enough product, to be honest with you. It's a deep
Mm.
world and it's a massive toolbox for you to live out your medieval fantasy sims in, but um, in some ways, maybe it's probably controversial, but JD George says these things. Bit of a one-trick pony.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else, or are we drawing a line here? Because I think we're done, aren't we? One
No, I
thing I
think
would
we're done.
like
Yeah.
to do, though, is turn to you and
Hmm.
say, obviously, we've talked about a range of ways to interact with the show, RGT. Why don't you list off a couple of them?
Well, you can send us a message at unofficialcontroller.com or questions at unofficialcontroller.com. Instagram, we're on
Unofficial
there.
controller questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com.
Hmm.
This is why
Is
we
that
don't
not
get
what I
any
said?
emails.
Yeah, because I say
No.
it different every week. Then we've got Instagram. You can DM us on Discord as well. Jump on there. You've heard us talking about that
We've got an
today
X
with
that
the.
we need to boost. So actually, your call to arms this week, if you're listening and you're in the cheap seats and you don't contribute in any way, and that's totally cool. That's totally cool. But why don't you drop us a follow on X?
Yeah,
That
yeah. Drop
would
us a
be
follow.
absolutely. So if you're going to do anything this week, if you've got to this point, you've gone, I really enjoy these boys. I'm going to go and get in the back catalogue. But how can I make it right by them? Do they want money? Well, you can give us that, but not necessarily. Our call to arms this week is you go Twitter and you follow us. End of story. And we can't wait to get
Hmm.
to know you on there.
Yeah, brilliant. Also got YouTube as well, where you can catch the video of these shows.
Ugh, grotesque. And I think our faces prove why that we are an audio show.
Yeah, yeah, we're definitely face the radio. Well, me especially.
I look like a 3 month old little ready meal, and you look like the accompanying Kimonon.
Yeah, I'll take that. Um, but yeah, you could jump on YouTube, watch us on there, give us a sub, give us a like, give us a comment if you want. But yeah, there's various ways to join in with us. Like I say, Discord. Also, if you are a regular listener, if you could just spare 2 minutes, give us a review on your
No, we're overloading
podcast
them. We're
supply.
overloading them. We're overloading them. If you ask them to do three things, they'll do none. So what do you want
Follow
them
us
to
on
do?
Twitter. Leave us a review. There we go.
Let's build the. Yeah, Firm Returns wants us to build the Twitter up. He's the Mr. Wildman producer in the background at the moment. He's pulling the strings, and he wants a Twitter big. He wants a Twitter massive.
Mm.
He's Firm Returns has bought the rights to Zutimax Media because he's a bit of a. I mean, if you want to make money out there in the stock market and not work, if you want to make money from investments, you need to follow Firm Returns on Twitter. He's the best,
Mm.
most intelligent man. He's handsome. He likes video games and can also make you a fat buck. I don't think you need any more than that. So get him followed on
No,
Twitter. Do it immediately. It's your first step to
perfection.
becoming a millionaire.
Hmm.
And it also means that his share buying of Zutamax Media, which is also secured in the rights to Eldorado, Birds of the Feather, and the UCP. Um, I've got to say, fair play to him.
Yeah.
I hope he's as kind to us as he is to Linda Robson and Pauline Quirk,
Mm.
because they've got a few health issues. I see that Linda Robson's she's promoting medical cannabis. And Pauline Quirks, I think, maybe had a stroke, bless her. So, he's been very
Mm.
kind. He's actually I would say, Firm Return is probably one of the most generous investors going because he's allowed them to keep 0.001% of their royalties.
Oh wow.
And he sent Pauline
Yeah.
some wet wipes.
Nice. That's good of
Mm.
him.
Yeah, he's
Mm.
good. He's an
What a
investor.
legend.
He's not. He's
Mm.
not. He's not here for a good time. No, he is here for a good time
Mm.
and a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Mm.
we're we're honoured to have him.
We are his loyal servants.
Mm.
Um, Admittedly, no, I don't want to talk about it. That's what HR's for. So when
Mm.
Scotty's next in, I probably ought to have a sit down with him, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although then he's
Yeah. I
going to have
remember
to
you.
speak to Firm Returns as the MD,
Mm,
the president, El Presidente. Um,
mm,
I can't see that ending well for me.
no, I'm
Phil,
thinking that as well.
delete this, Phil, delete this monologue. Yeah. Anyway, Firm Returns resides on the Discord and he pays, which is very generous of him, seeing as he's the owner. But he pays on a monthly basis, much like you can. RGT, there's tiers here now. Now there's tiers, not streaming down my face. We're talking incremental levels of increment upwards from.
Wow, what a sentence!
I realised as I said it,
Incremental levels of increment
upwards.
upwards.
Mm.
Superb
Have you seen
t-shirt
that
idea.
rally driving clip? Have you seen that rally driving clip? Because one of the things I was laughing about while I was away is I can't remember. It's Marcus summoned a Swedish rally driver where he pulls over and the camera crew,
Gronholm, was it?
maybe the camera
Yeah,
crew
Marcus
rush
Gronholm.
over to the side of it and they say, "What's wrong?" Uh, oh God, we had to stop. And he's like, "Oh, why?" There's a stone straight up through the seat, straight into Timo's asshole. And he does it absolutely straight pan. He's like, Timo's hurt. Timo, we pull over a stone straight up through the seat, straight in Timo's asshole. Absolutely genius. So yeah, type in Timo's asshole and go have a look at that on there. I don't know how we got to this, but anyway,
No.
talk me through the tiers.
Well, we changed the tiers, didn't we, a little while ago, to basically so that you didn't lose out on anything that was, online, anything like that. So
You
basically,
spoke,
if
we listened, right?
yeah, so $3 you get the Unglorious Chat, which is a little section on there for the tier people on um, Discord.
Yep.
Then you get the Zoom meetup that we do,
Dude,
quarterly
why do
Zoom
I look
meetup.
like the demon freaking headmaster? Jesus wept, I'm old.
Mm.
Someone, we've
You,
lost half the young listeners. Someone fetch me a coffin.
you're not old. Look how old I look. You look like a young whippersnapper with your baseball jersey and your hat on back to front. You look,
Yeah,
you
but
just
who
come
am I
back from doing a
kidding?
paper round.
Underneath, my teeth are gone. I'm bald. I'm ancient. My belly is ever enlarging. I look like a weeble wobble, but we don't fall down. You're ever slimming. Got the turkey teeth. Got the hair transplant. Looking great.
I don't know about that. I'm not ever slimming. I'm going the
Yes,
other
you are.
way.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But yes, anyway, so we've
I
got.
would.
Mm, you don't mean that. Um,
One can of wingman, which we know from the evidence of what one can of wingman did to me on air. What episode was that? The day the PG era died,
I think it was the
and
one.
then I
Yeah,
got ill for a week.
it one can of Wingman
And I
absolutely
said the
destroyed you.
most deplorable things you could possibly imagine as well.
And the only reason you got one is because you saw that I had a brew dog, and you were like, "Oh, I've got one of them somewhere. I might have
I
one
want to
with you."
be like you, and then instantly regretted it. Half as soon as that first wet lip hit my lips, I was talking absolute drivel in the first 2 seconds of the. Nothing unusual for you there, friend. Anyway,
Just ended up with me apologising.
well, one of the consolidating moments of being on this show is apologising for one of your co-hosts' behaviours.
Well, yeah, that's part of it, I suppose.
So give me the tears, you sexy bitch.
Right, so we do the $3 tier, which is the Unglorious Chat. You get the monthly Zoom meeting. I can't remember myself now. And then we go up
Quarterly,
to,
quarterly, quarterly Zoom meeting.
sorry, yes, quarterly Zoom meeting, not monthly. I struggle to put the quarterly one out, let alone monthly.
I was going to say, slow
Which,
down, RGT. We're trying to put out 6 shows, and oh my god.
and if you want to know what the Zoom meeting is, it's basically one of us will host it. We'll give you a Zoom call. It's normally between sort of 5 and 10 of us on there, and we just have a meet up. We chat games, chat pickups, chat movies, chat anything really.
And the show
Um,
that'll end up coming out as a show, as I believe we've committed to
that,
as well. So that's
yeah,
great news. A
yeah, that
bonus
comes out as a show. So if you're
bonus show,
Mm.
bonus
So
show.
definitely worth it. And then so yeah, you get the quarterly Zoom meetup, you get the Unglorious Chat, and you get your name read out on every show. When you go to $5, you get all three of those, plus you get a bit of yearly art merch. For instance, I could probably
Yes,
show
please,
you.
mummy.
I have one here for the visual viewers. So we have our little fridge magnets, which is our new
Made by the
artwork
Wooden
on.
Postcard Company, a prestigious
Yeah,
company from Norwich, which make for some of the biggest and
from
best
Suffolk,
museums around the world.
not
Don't let the
Norwich.
truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, just completely made that up. They're not Norwich.
Everything
But yes,
else
you
was true. They were just like I got them 50 miles away from where they were.
35. And
That's pretty close, actually. That's actually
um,
damn close.
yeah, it's about 35 miles. Yeah, so
15 as the
get
crow flies, possibly 10.
oh, I don't know about that. Um,
It's a
yeah,
crow.
so then you get $5. You get the same as $3 tiers. You get your name read out in every show. You get the unglorious chat, and you get the quarterly Zoom meetup. Plus, you get your yearly art merch. On your $8, you get all of those four. Plus, you get a mug with the artwork on. And if you go up to the $10 tier, you get all those, but you get the magnet, the mug, and you get a T-shirt, which has all gone
Blankety
out.
blank, blankety blank,
So everyone's had
blankety
theirs this
blank,
year.
blankety blank,
Everyone seems to be
blankety
enjoying it.
blank, blankety blank, blankety blank,
Checkbook and pen.
blankety
um,
blank.
yeah, they're really good. They're nice. I mean, everyone loved the mugs this year. We done a bit of an orange theme on the mugs, on the inside of the mugs and the fridge magnets. The t-shirts look really good. So, and we gave people the choice of what colours they wanted, the black shirt or the white shirt, and some had black, some had white. And this week, I'm actually sending one out to Brazil. So there was a t-shirt
Blankety
winging its
blank, blankety
yeah,
blank,
winging its way out to
Brazility
Brazil.
blank. Someone's listening.
So
Someone's subscribed from Brazil.
I said I'll give him a shout out when he gives me a picture of him on Sao Paulo beach with his t-shirt UCP and holding his fridge magnet. I'll give him a shout out on the show. So yes, we have got a listener in Brazil. So
Did I? Is this a new sub?
no, he's not a sub. He's he wanted some of our merch. So
He's
we
show
supplied him with some of the
curious.
merch. Yeah. So he's been listening to the show. So
He's kind of he's
mm,
circling around.
yeah. So if you're listening, you know you are. I'll give you a big shout out as soon as you get that picture of you on the beach with that UCP
Build
on in
up
Brazil.
the hype. Ayrton Senna's love child. Here he is, the most handsome man in Brazil. Boom, in the t-shirt, drinking a Brazilian beverage, a cerveza, out of a mug. UCP mug on Sao Paulo Beach. Wow. No, Copacabana, baby. Copacabana.
So that's been sent this week. So
Down at the Copacabana. He's got a mug in his hand and a UCTP thing wrapped round his gland. He's on
UCTP.
the UCTP.
I'd sent him a 10.
Wrap round his gland. He's on the Copacabana. What would you call it?
Anyway, so
That's him gone. UCP t-shirt now being used as a mop head.
I worked hard for that. Well done. That's that destroyed. Yeah.
Midsection kick stunner. That's how we do it in the Attitude Era. In your face.
So yeah, if you are interested, check out the tiers. You'll see it on your podcast provider. Support the show. Click on there, and you'll see the bits on there. If you ever need to know, if you never need to know what the tiers are again, just like I say, either email us or message us, DM us, and I can send you the tiers if you'd like to know. So,
and they get access to those at the link at the bottom of every single podcast.
There we go. Fantastic.
Couldn't be easier. And remember, if you're in the cheap seats, just drop us a follow on Twitter. That's all it's going to cost you. And speak up loudly enough and be from somewhere bizarre and demand a t-shirt. And you know what? You won't get your name read out anyway. Now, RGT. That being said, those people that have chosen to contribute to the show this far, I call them your list of victims, seeing as if you go back to season 1, you were a manacled serial killer that was policed by the immortal Ross Kemp himself. We blew the budget in season 1. Don't think the show's ever recovered since, but, you know, we did what we needed to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to start the list of victims, or do you want me to?
I certainly can. So victim number 1 is Cnox. our friend from Sweden. Thank you very much, Xenox.
Did he get his T-shirt?
He's got his mug and that. He was the next tier down, I believe. So he was
Oh,
mug
excellent.
making up
Well,
that
as
sort of
long as
stuff.
he's
So
got something to drink out of and stick on
yes,
his fridge. Okay, which means
that's
I get the one-man George fan club, the immortal, handsome, intelligent, well-endowed, um, well-educated, sophisticated, man of class, elegance, and taste. A man with an exquisite palate, both audibly, visually, and orally. Yeah, I went there, Sunbeam. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic palette. Great choice of host to be the one-man fan club for. The immortal, slightly Hispanic sounding Carlos.
what a legend. Next, we have who
He's got bulletproof nipples.
I did hear that. I did hear that. Yeah. Um,
They can take a
next
bullet
up,
anywhere as
with
long as it's straight on the nips. Anywhere else, it's death. On the nips, pow, ricochet off, probably kill some innocent. Have you
right.
frozen? No. Yeah, okay.
No, I was just
All
for the
good.
third time going to try and say firm returns, but you're going to keep you interrupting, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, he got his advert as well, didn't he? Don't forget, if you want
Yeah.
to
So,
invest, if you
but
want to lift your life out the gutter, if you don't want to wake up and do the 9 to 5 grind anymore, if you're sick of it, want to roll around on a lilo in an all-inclusive resort in Bognor Regis somewhere, he's your man. Up next, Trestles New York. Got to say thank you to those guys who were our food providers in season 2 when me and Bobby, or I joined Bobby in New York.
yeah, seems years ago now, doesn't it? Been long time supporters.
Trippy dream.
Next up, we have the wonderful Bada Binkster. Probably nursing his
Everybody
wounds.
stand up, sir. Everybody sit down. Stammi bene, bada bingster. Stammi bene, bada bingster. Tante belle cose, bada bingster.
I think he was a bit sad because his team Inter didn't win the league, so
He's
he was a
cleaner.
bit down in the dumps.
He's cleaner.
No, his team
Oh, that
Inter.
makes more sense. What happened to his
Mm,
cleaner?
nothing happened to his cleaner, not as far as I know.
Hmm.
But Inter didn't win the league, so never mind. Bada Binkster's always next year, mate. Don't worry. You got
They're
Champions
tenner
League.
penny cleaners. I get Tingle Tuna. Up next, the mighty mastodon of Lincolnshire born and bred gaming gurus. He now lives masquerading in another county just to raise up the local postcode profile a little bit, try and just improve their property prices. If they can say Tingle Tuna walked down this street playing his DS in his thong, looking sexy, all of a sudden your house is worth 200 grand instead of 100. Boom, job done. Yeah,
Yeah,
parts
I
of
can
Hina
understand that.
now are sort of like sought after by celebrities.
Really?
Yeah. He's
Wow.
also had a really positive effect on Stapleford.
Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, bless him.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
pioneer.
he
Um,
is.
next up, we have the amazing Digital Monkery, our policeman of the Discord,
The deputy
our
dog of the
the deputy
Discord.
dog.
If you think
Also,
about swearing, he's already blocked you.
mm, before we've even typed it, type
No,
F,
just you
poof,
think
you're
it
out.
and you just like, hang on a
Yeah.
minute, why can't I get on the Discord? Boom, thought police, he's had you.
But also does our challenge accepted and bits and pieces for that. So thank you very much, Digital Monkery. All is appreciated as always.
I'm still living on a hair follicle on his face.
I'm sure
I
you
see
are.
what he sees.
Mm.
Up next, the Gaming Gram. Yeah, that's right. You normally walk into a pub. Well, I don't, but some of the bigger boys walk into the pub and they're after a gram of this and a gram of that. But I tell you what, bet they can't afford a gaming gram. Our man,
Mm. Bang.
he's got a bulletproof abs. So
Has he?
if he breeded with the firm returns,
No, Carlos.
Carlos, they would
Be like,
be 72% bulletproof.
that'd almost be like a tiny little Robocop.
It would.
Hmm.
I'm sure we can make other people bulletproof as we go along. So by the time we finish this almost Nazi-like breeding program, we're going to have the invincible.
I was worrying of that.
Listener.
Yeah,
it's happening. Okay.
yeah. I've sort of got that vibe. Next up, we have the awesome bald border. Thank you very much. And he's the Atari man at the moment. He's gone a bit Atari mad collecting at the moment. So he's just picked up an authentic copy of Hero for his Atari 2600, which is quite an expensive game. But he's pulled the plug on it and got it.
Are you telling me that he's been holding out for that, or is he? Was it a?
He was a big Atari 2600 player back in the day when the console was new.
What game did he get?
Well, he bought that new Atari 7800 Plus console.
Yeah.
Which is actually decent, really decent.
What game did you say he picked up though?
He's picked up Hero.
Was he holding out for that? Do you think, or
what, holding out for a Hero? I think he was, and he held out long enough until he found his Hero and he got it. But yeah, it took me twice to get that.
The second time round was better.
Yeah, Phil,
cue
the track over that.
Hang on a minute, because I was on Instagram today. This is the next person. We got Boba, but I don't know what's going on because I have absolutely no idea what reality.
I know exactly what you.
Yeah. I have no idea what reality I've woken up in when Boba, aka our version of Boba Loba, aka our version of Boba Fett, has gone to MCM Comic Con with a hot ass woman dressed as Boba.
Yeah.
So hang on a minute. I do believe they're in some sort of. So Boba, I don't quite know how two Bobas go together. But stand by Comic Con hotel room because there's going to be a Mandalorian loving.
That's also going to be good when someone asks him his name and they're walking together. What's your name? Boba. Well, no, surely she's Boba. No,
Mr.
I'm
and Mrs. Boba. Maybe this is the. Is this the fish or is this the marriage? Although I am more interested in seeing OG Boba Loba in the costume that his fair lady was wearing.
Wow.
That's what I would go to Comic-Con for.
I did wonder if you were going down that route.
I drove my bus straight down it. It's the bus route, so I took it.
I suppose also we've got to go in Boba. Steady.
That's not what we normally say.
No.
Is it?
No.
What do we normally? What have you chosen to say now?
Who we got next up? We have the amazing Ginge. Thank you, Ginge. As always, your red-headed stepson and a long-time supporter of the show.
He's got bulletproof fingernails.
Has he? That's from all that hard work and graft he did.
Bulletproof genitalia.
Has he?
Well, next I get Harvey Retro. He's got bulletproof eyebrows.
Has he? Eyebrows. Wow. Bulletproof eyebrows. Wow.
So this UCP Ultimate Listeners like 62% bulletproof now.
Yeah. We're getting there, aren't we? I'm a bit worried about the last one. But yes. Yeah. Thank you, Harvey Retro, as always. Next, we've got the wonderful Emma Sharp.
What's bulletproof on Emma?
Her feet.
It's unusual for you to pick a woman's feet. Be bulletproof.
Good. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Emma, as well, for your representation on the World Tour. Thank you for joining me in Holland. It was great to get to the Expo Centre. You were the only person that joined me, but, we had made a good day of it. Nowhere near Berlin. I'll tell you where he's nowhere near. Nowhere near impervious to bullets, but he has got bulletproof rear calves.
Has he?
Yes.
So if he's running away and they're shooting at him.
Yeah. He's the only UCP listener to evolve with rearward-facing bulletproof armour.
Wow.
So we're definitely going to have to get him in the gene pool.
Get the bulletproof calves followed by zigzag, and he ain't going to get hit a lot, is he?
Going brown.
Next up, we have Mumsy.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mumsy, as always.
Up next, The most deplorable,
Oh,
yet beautiful, yet ill-advised, yet somehow root for the underdog type club that's packed with more members than an Iceland that's being opened by Kerry-Katona, and they're giving away free Sara Lee strudel.
oof.
It's
I'd
pretty
be front of the
packed.
queue.
Yeah,
Yep,
there's at least 10 people in there.
at least. And who are they then? You haven't announced them yet.
TRGT fan club.
There we go. Thank you very
I
much.
thought you wanted me to do individuals. I'm going to be struggling here, mate.
What, are you trying to say it's a lie?
Not at all. But it's got less legitimacy than mine
Oh,
because mine wears its heart on its sleeve. It's one man.
with bulletproof nipples. Next up, we've got
Exactly.
Pete
Sort of guy you want to
Brocklehurst.
get behind in a gunfight.
Hmm.
Your
Now,
odds
I
have gone
think,
up significantly.
yeah, I think Pete Brocklehurst, he's probably got a bulletproof head.
No one's dying on our watch. If Pete
No.
Brocklehurst turns up, yeah, he's a bit of
Mm,
he's a bit of a Frankenstein type character, really. So yeah, you
mm.
step on his foot hard enough, and the top of his head lifts up like a flip top bin.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's almost like a tough and rough version of Crichton.
Yeah, we used to press on his foot and stash our Tipex in his head during class.
Good idea. Good idea.
Good vintage as well. It was like a 1992 bottle of Tipex. It was strong.
Oh, that was the best.
It-
That was the best.
yeah, I've still got
That
one now, but I think it's worth more unopened.
that was a head spinner. Yeah, that definitely keep it sealed. Get it graded.
It's a bit frowned upon in the Tipex world. Yeah, they're buying it with the aspiration of one day maybe having a little snifter. So
Well, I think once everyone started getting the pretty sticks graded and that all fell off, they're a bit sensitive about trying to get the
Pritt
Tipex
stick, do you
graded.
know
So,
what? You could smear half of that off your face on your face and feel nothing.
yeah,
Pritt
it's just
stick
that's a starter pack, isn't it?
killed the market. Killed the market.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, correction fluid took a dive, big dive.
mm, yeah. Anyway, who we got next?
Love him or hate him, a bit like Tipex. It's Billy Marmite.
Yes, thank you, Billy. And then we've got the wonderful Simon Pryke. Thank you as always, Simon. Superb for your support.
What's bulletproof on
Oh,
Simon?
crotch.
That's leaving Fat Zangief a bit exposed. Who's doing it this week? Me. It's
That's
me.
you.
Okay, so what part of Fat Zangief is bulletproof?
His buttocks.
So he's also deployed rearward facing bulletproof.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how would you like me to perform the Fat Zangief this week?
Sensual.
Just that one word, that one interpretation for an actor of my caliber?
Yeah, sensual. Let's see if you can pull it off. It's quite a hard one to pull off. That I know you don't normally have struggle pulling things off, but I think you might be struggling with this one.
Fat Zangief.
Oh, I think you might have nailed that. It's giving me a little bit of a fizz.
Fat Zangief!
Yeah, that's killed it. That's just killed it. It's destroyed it.
The idea of you running around pitching a tent over the thought of me doing a Zangief was too much. So I killed it dead. Going brown.
But yes, thank you, Zangief, and thanks for your participation in the Gen 7 episode. Very much appreciated, and it's been good fun so far. So looking forward to
He's the
many more
hero I
games
was
on it.
holding out for, and he delivered fantastically. In fact, he put you right on a few things, and I kind of sat there thinking, have I married the wrong guy?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is how this is going to go, is it? Wow.
Look, as soon as I thought it, I read.
No, don't dig out the hole now.
Don't
dig you out of...
start talking when I am talking. This is important. You better listen. This is from me to you, sensualness, and it's. I've forgotten what I was going to say now, so that's how important you are to me. But
I was going to show you. Look, this is how important I am to you. Look, that's how important I am to you. Look at that. And if you're listening on audio, I've just held up Farming Simulator 16-bit edition for the Mega Drive.
Did you get me a code?
Yes, I did
You,
get your code.
oh, good boy.
You've got a code. You've got a digital code and digital soundtrack as well.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
What's the code for
Um,
Evercade in here? What an absolute swine.
no,
I'll buy an
no, it's just
Evercade if you can get me a code for it for that. 16-bit though, I don't play 8-bit garbage. FYI.
garbage. You're mean.
It's true.
Someone put a lot of work into that.
That's also true. No, I was going to say that you're an absolute good egg and the show wouldn't exist in its current format without you. In fact,
Silly sausage.
it probably wouldn't even exist at all. So, should be, if you're listening, you should be grateful for RGT. Maybe caress his face.
Can I do a smug
Mm,
face on there?
No, I don't want to see that. No, that's not
No.
that's killed it. That's all we have time for. No, hang on a minute. We can't even leave that soon. What are you hoping to play?
More GTA 4. If I get, as you can probably see behind me, I'm decorating the living room in a minute and sorting the living room out. So if I get the living room done, I
That's
get the
your living
Retrons
room.
set. Yes. Mm.
Where's all
Uh,
your horror and gaming ephemera gone?
and they're in storage.
I'll tell you what, that storage is taking an absolute. The guy who runs that storage thing is like, yeah, man, I'll do you a good price on one of those. Yeah, no problems. You're in every week just loading more tat in it, floor to ceiling.
It's got subsidence now.
He's had to pay for an upgrade into the foundation. He's had to like
Yeah.
mole underneath it and like fill it with these concrete piles.
Yeah. Someone's just dumped like electronics boutique full shop worth
I heard that
into
you've
one.
actually skewed Earth's gravity in that one location, and planes have to go around your
Mm.
local town.
Yes. Yeah. It's there's some weight there. Put it that way. Um, but yes, so if I get the Retron set up this week on the big TV, then I will be playing some Fun Simulator 16-bit edition. So looking forward to that.
Wow.
While I was away, I picked up loads of hidden gem fodder, which I thought was hidden gem. So I'm looking forward to playing that and hopefully discovering.
RGT says, listen, you don't know what you're missing. Hidden gems, a world awaits you, my friend. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Doesn't have a point of view. Shelves of games he's never played. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Hidden gems, please listen. RGT's tips gonna glisten.
Anyway, so yeah, I got a load of. I
I'm
got a-
workshopping that. I don't know about the last line, but it's not untrue, so I don't know
you
whether we
keep
should leave
looking
it.
up. Have you written lyrics down for that? Have you actually written the lyrics down? Oh my god, he has. He's written lyrics down. Jeez. Anyway,
Next
yes, I've
person
got.
to subscribe at the $5 tier, which is only $5, which if you live anywhere other than the United States is literally £6.20 or tuppence halfpenny. Will get that signed by me in the post immediately,
There you go. Um, and
and then
also, I
I'll have to
did while
write
I
them
was
down
away.
again.
I did. I did pick up a game I've wanted for a long time. I got Outrun 2 for the original Xbox. Got an absolutely mint copy of it. Still had the Xbox Live card in, still with the unscratched off code on there. So I was
Ooh,
absolutely over the moon with that. So yeah, Outrun 2. I might see if I can play that this week. I don't know if that's backwards compatible to Series X. We'll have to see. But yeah, we'll see. Fingers
interesting.
crossed. But yeah, so
Fingers.
that's what I'm going to play. What about you?
All I can care or think about right now is Lord of the Rings: The Third Age and how quickly I can get back on that bad boy.
Yeah, Scott, it's sunk its claws in you, that, isn't it?
I don't know what it is, and I don't know. I've been feeling PS2 for a while, and this has just hit the right note. It's that kind of crossover piece with the surround sound. The graphics are just about bearable, in fact, quite passable at some moments, and the gameplay and the obviously the world it inherits and the content. It feels for the time quite highbrow, and an extension of that EA Lord of the
Hmm.
Rings universe they created. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm buzzing like a hornet trapped in your girlfriend's platform shoe.
Wow, that is buzzing.
I could have said something else, but I chose to go down that road.
I was relieved when you said platform shoe. So I must admit there was a bit of shock and anxiety crept in there. But then
Tingle
when you
Tuna
said
just
shoe,
careered off the M1 halfway down an embankment. Like, oh no, it's a Hornet.
yeah, that's right. Thank God, thank God.
Kid in the back, Proto RGT with his switch up round his neck. No, he's playing the DS. He's a kid of quality. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
you're all right,
Fire
Dad.
Emblem.
3/4 of the way through it as well.
He's in his tuner training.
Wow. What else? Is there any more you want to impart to the infamous fans, the listeners, the cheap seats, the big seats? Any
just say
community drivel you want to share?
Just say thanks to everyone who's been joining in with the Gen 7 playthrough at the moment.
Thank you for that, guys, because
I appreciate that, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, and it's good. And
it's actually very highbrow, might I say.
That's great to play, get to these little markers, have a little chat, where we're getting to. And I know, like, for instance, Bada Binkster was stuck on the old hospital mission. We had to go in, you had to pick these drugs up for Elizabeth for the old hospital. But then the police swarm in and he kept saying, oh, I'm just getting killed. I'm getting killed. And I remembered from when I played it the first time, I said, don't stand and fight the police. Get out that front door, get in a truck, get to pay and spray. Don't worry about fighting them. Just run past them. You'll take a few hits, but just run past them. Then I got a message back. Yeah, I've done that. Done it first time. This time, done it first time. I was like, yeah, there we go. And that's what it's all about. It's all about chatting, helping each other out in missions if we get stuck.
Some would say we're building a community.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And if you want to be a part of that, don't be a lonely gamer. Get yourself involved.
Yeah, definitely. But yes, just thanks to everyone. Thanks to all the subscribers as well. Really appreciate all that. And yes, so.
Yeah, a universal truth spoken by RGT. We appreciate you and subs and the cheap seats. Don't forget to subscribe on Twitter. That's all you got to do is follow us on there this week, and then we will see that as payment rendered. And we'll be very grateful for you. I guess that's all we have time for this week. Listeners, always thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT.
Laters.